Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Kato. The European Space Agency is attending the Munich Security Conference this year, where key players meet to discuss international security policy. Space now plays an increasing role in global security, and the ESA joins senior politicians and security experts in Munich to discuss how space systems underpin Europe's competitiveness, resilience, and strategic autonomy. I'm now joined by Josef Aschbacher, European Space Agency Director from the Munich Security Conference, to tell us more. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Very happy to be live transmitted to Poland.
Great to have you with us. So, as I mentioned, space plays such a key role now in establishing security in Europe and around the world. And with the European Security Agency in Munich, I wanted to ask you about Commissioner Kubilius's mention of the European Space Defence Shield. What is the ESA's specific technical role in this shield? Is it about better sensors or bodyguard satellites to protect assets like Galileo? Tell us more about that.
Yeah. No, first of all, the space shield of the Commissioner Kubilius is being defined as we speak. So there are various elements that will be part of it. But what is our role as the European Space Agency? We are building infrastructure according to the requirements of the European Commission and our member states. That means, for example, I have proposed one program at the ministerial in November last year, where we build up a European resilience system. That means a system that builds up an intelligence system for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance of satellites, which will be a future constellation. We do this together with the European Commission. That means, according to the requirements which they express, we build the infrastructure, that is spacecraft, ground segment, services that are required, and then obviously hand over, once these satellites are built and launched, to the European Commission as operator. So this is really a very close cooperation which we have with Commissioner Kubilius. Have a very strong personal but also professional cooperation and link, and this works extremely well. So yes, we have to build up our capacity for Europe very fast, very quickly, and I should really mention also Poland is a champion within the ESA context in really defining what needs to be done, and I'm very grateful for the very strong support Poland was given to ESA at the ministerial conference in Bremen through the presence of Minister Domanski, but also the contributions that were provided to many of our programs.
And obviously, in this part of the world, in Central and Eastern Europe, we're following the developments of IRIS-2 very closely. There's an urgent need to develop Europe's space sovereignty and resilience. There have been comments regarding the rollout of communication services in 2029 instead of 2030. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, how realistic this timeline is?
Yeah, this is absolutely necessary because we are under pressure, as you all know very well, geopolitically, and there's a very urgent need to build up capacity. So yes, this communication infrastructure, which is, I should say, under the responsibility of the European Commission together with industry. There's a consortium called SpaceRISE, which are developing those, but the Commissioner has expressed that he needs this ready by 2029 instead of 2030, and we as ESA, we develop and we provide space infrastructure and development. So our job really is to support the build-up of this, and this is something that we do, that we are the trusted partner of the European Commission in building up European space infrastructure.
Would you be able to confirm the 2029 rollout?
The rollout is something that is in the hands of industry, so the SpaceRISE consortium, which is the one that has been mandated by the European Commission to build up this infrastructure. The Commission has been very clear that they want this by 2029, and yes, this is industry's responsibility to respond to this and provide it by that time frame.
Today at the Munich Security Conference, you spoke about the strategy of the ESA for 2040. There were lots of details that were provided. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the ESA strategy 2040 is quite an important document because it shows where Europe is going in the next 15 years or so in space. And we have a number of goals, 5 of them that we identified. But in short, what we really are aiming at is to build up European capacity to be stronger, have more autonomy and more independence in terms of technology that we develop. And this goes from Earth observation to science, to communication, to navigation, but also exploration with astronauts to the space station, with missions to the moon and to Mars, of course, at the beginning robotic missions, but we do also have aims that eventually building up capacity for human spaceflight and also building up satellites and missions to explore our universe. That means to answer all these questions that everyone has. Every citizen in Poland and around the world is, where do I come from? What does planet Earth mean in the wide universe or in the solar system? Where does the universe go? And all these big questions. And yes, we are providing answers to many of those through our satellites and missions.
And I just wanted to go back to the European Iris-2 program. Would you view this as a response to Elon Musk's Starlink, or would you see this as a separate parallel program?
Oops. Sorry, the headset was just dropping, but if I understood your question, whether this is a response to Elon Musk's Starlink, the answer is yes. This is what Europe is building up. IRIS² is the European equivalent or European response to a satellite secure communication network. And yes, this is exactly what we are building up in order to make sure that Europe has its independence, autonomous capability for secure communication.
I just wanted to ask about the recent exchange between Poland's foreign minister, Radosław Sikorski, and Elon Musk. They often have heated discussions on X, and a lot of it concerns Starlink. I wonder whether you wanted to share your thoughts, give us a few comments on that.
Yeah, this is not really for me to comment. These are exchanges between, as you say, the minister in Poland and Elon Musk, and this is not something I want to comment.
So I wanted to move on now to Sophie Adenau's launch of today. I know that was a very significant event for the European Space Agency. We see Sophie launching on SpaceX's Falcon 9. Tell us a little bit about that and the significance for the European Space Agency.
This was a very important launch that we had this morning, and it was really quite fascinating to see it live. Sophie Adenau is the ESA astronaut, the first one from the 2022 class of astronauts, which I selected 3.5 years ago, and the first of the career astronauts. So she will go, she's flying right now as we speak to the space station. The docking is tomorrow night, European time. And this will be a long duration flight, 8 to 9 months, doing experiments, more than 30 experiments that we have developed for her. Altogether, she will participate in about 200 experiments. You just had the Polish astronaut Sławomir, who was flying there on a mission, and this is really so important for Europe, for the European Space Agency, to do experiments and make sure that we learn, we do science, we learn about the human body, about medicine, but also material science and many other things that we are doing on the space station. And yes, the mission of Sophie is really quite exciting from that perspective.
Just a final question as we wrap up. The Ariane 64 is now effectively operational. How close are we to seeing a European astronaut take off from European soil on a European rocket?
Yeah, this is a question which I'm really asking also politicians to address, because the building up of a human spaceflight capability, that means flying European astronauts with European rockets, European capsules, is a political decision. Technically, we can do it. We're ready to do it. But there, our heads of government, heads of state really need to confirm that this is a priority for Europe, as it is for other countries. I take the United States, I take China, I take Russia as other examples where we have this spaceflight capability, and India will come very soon. So yes, this is a question which has to be answered at the political level. Technically, I can assure you we can make it possible.
Okay, Josef Aschbacher, European Space Agency Director, joining us from the Munich Security Conference. Thank you so much for making the time to speak to us.
Thank you so much. A great pleasure.
Thank you. And that's a wrap for World Talks. Thanks so much for being with us, and make sure that you keep yourselves updated with TVP World and tvpworld.com. See you soon. Bye.